No, not now.
Okay, you upload it later.
Hi guys, welcome to Next Step with Cherry. So if you're my new viewer, I want to say a very big thank you. And if you're my returning subscriber, thank you so much for choosing Cherry. And today we are going to talk about, I know like a lot of you have been asking me about Australia, immigration, jobs, and everything like that. So today I brought my good friend in Australia and he's going to talk about jobs in demand, a lot of things that we need to know about Australia. So just keep your paper and your pen ready because we are going to give a lot of information right now. Okay, so I'm going to let him introduce himself and where he is at and everything about him that we should know. So please tell us about yourself.
Hello everyone, my name is Anthony and I'm currently living and working in Melbourne, Australia. So Melbourne is one of the best cities you can live in Australia. It's been voted as the top livable city in the world. So from the early 2000s to maybe 2013 or maybe 2015, it was the number one most livable city in the world. And until like last year and 2 years later, because of the pandemic, it's the 10th livable city in the world. So Melbourne is like one of the best places you can live. And currently, I work in a company that makes sheepskin products. So Ugg Boots is a popular brand, and I work for the company that makes these kind of winter boots. And that's what I do currently in Melbourne.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So there is one question. There is this particular question before we go, before we
Yeah,
start that I really want to know, and a lot of people, I know that some people want to know about that. Okay,
yeah.
so if we go to Australia, we go to Australia with a tourist visa, can I
hmm
actually like switch to any other maybe job visa, study visa, or anything like that? And if yes, is it like a bit easy to go with tourist visa than any other visa?
Yes, actually, that's a very good question because I came to Australia with a tourist visa. Then I switched to another
Hmm.
visa that's more permanent. Um, yes, the tourist visa is easier to get and it's faster. I got my visa in 8 days, and the whole process I applied online, and the interview was done on the phone. So I didn't meet anyone from the Australian embassy in person. Everything was done online via the phone, and I got my visa in 8 days. So it was like really fast. To be honest, I didn't plan for it to be so fast. I planned like, okay, if I apply in 2 months or something, I'll get my visa and be in Australia. But the more it's like as I applied, I got the visa, so I had to start planning to go. But my plan was to like I didn't even plan to go. Like I was just okay, let me just apply and see how long it would take. But in 8 days, I already got the visa, and I was like, oh, okay, now time to buy a flight ticket and leave. And the only
Okay.
thing you need to be wary about the tourist visa is hello.
Yes, continue, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, hello, can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Hello? Yeah, I hear you. Yes.
Okay, yeah, so I can keep talking.
Yes.
Yeah. So the only thing you need to be careful about the tourist visa is um, they have conditions on your tourist visa. So my visa had two conditions. I cannot study while I can only study for 3 months. Okay, okay. Let me start from the beginning. You can hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
So there are different types of tourist visas. Tourist visas can last from 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months. My tourist visa was for 12 months. Yeah. But I had to leave Australia every 3 months and come back every 3 months. And because of the
Oh,
pandemic, that's not going to be very possible. And I'm going to waste a lot of money. So before the 3 months expired, I applied for another visa. So that's one condition on my visa. I had to leave every 3 months. The second condition is I wasn't allowed to work while on a tourist visa. Yeah. So my visa had only two conditions on it. But unfortunately, some people have three conditions on their tourist visa. The third condition is you can't apply for another visa when you arrive Australia. So I was lucky to not have that condition on my visa. So a lot of people actually get that condition, but for some reason I was lucky not to have that condition. So that's another reason why tourist visa is kind of like a 50-50 game. It's like a 50-50 chance. If you get
Mm-hmm.
it without that condition,
Yeah.
then you're on the lucky side. If you get it with the condition of no further stay, then if you go to Australia, you're gonna need to leave and apply for another visa.
Oh, okay. So people
Yeah.
that get the tourist visa with like the 3 months condition, sorry,
Mm,
the three condition, which is like you cannot switch to any other visa. So what it
yeah.
means is that they literally have to leave. They cannot even
Yes.
look for work and
There's
then leave and do the work outside their like their home country.
yeah, that's if it's a remote work. If you can find some kind of remote work, then go back, then you're lucky. But the remote works are usually for people in tech, you know. I don't think there's any other kind of remote work you can do that if it's not tech.
Yeah, I mean like if they find a job in Australia, because with the tourist visa you can look for work. You can be looking for work, but you will not work, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Can you hear me now?
yeah. I can hear you now.
Okay, so I said like with the tourist visa, for example, I'm in Australia with a tourist visa and I have the three conditions, which means that I need to go back to my country after the visa expires. But
Yeah,
I can look for job, but I cannot work, right?
yeah, yeah. You're not allowed to formally start working, but if you're looking, then yeah, that doesn't count as working, so that's fine.
Okay, so that means if I find a job and the person is willing to sponsor me, then I need to go back to my home country and do the work
Yeah,
visa from my home country.
yeah,
Oh, okay, that's perfect. Okay,
yeah. That's fine.
so we are going to go straight to the questions that we have. I wanted us to clear this tourist visa of a thing because a lot of people have been asking about that. So
Yeah,
number
I
one
understand.
question that we have, what are the different pathways? What are the different pathways that
Mm,
one can move with? One can move to Australia with. We've talked about the tourist visa. What are the other
yeah.
visa pathways that one can move to Australia with?
Okay, so there are so many pathways. If I start talking about the pathways, we're going to be talking about this for 4 hours. So,
Okay,
so I'll
just
just
give us like
mention
the one you
the
like
popular
and it's
ones.
like a big for people.
Okay, so the popular ones and the ones that are easy for people would be number one, if study visa. We all know about the student visa. You apply to come study in Australia. If you're a spouse of a someone who's coming to study, you can also get a spouse visa to come to Australia with your partner. You know, while they study, you can also like, come to Australia and live and work. While and Australia students who come to study in Australia can work while they study.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can work for 20 hours per week while you study. So another pathway is if you have maybe your partner gets a student visa, you can also come with your partner. Another pathway is they have what they call the parents visa. So if your parents if you come to Australia and get permanent residence, you can bring your parents over to Australia on the parents visa. Hello?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes, I can hear. Continue.
yeah. And there's another visa known as the temporary skill shortage visa.
Okay. That sounds
So
interesting. So what
yeah,
is it about?
temporary skill shortage visa is when they bring a worker from another country to fill in the current skill shortage issues that are in Australia. Because right now, Australia has like I think 0.3% unemployment rate. So it's like there
Ooh,
are more jobs than people in the country.
yeah.
Yeah, and we're having a current skill shortage crisis, and they're actively looking to get people into the country. So a temporary skill shortage visa is the visa they use to fill in these work, vacancies. And there are different
Mm-hmm.
types. There's the short-term stream, there's the medium-term stream, and there's the long-term stream. So yeah, Yeah, so that's about the temporary skill shortage visa. It's just basically there are lots of shortages in a certain field, and they want someone
Yeah.
to come in and fill those, like, spaces. But one thing you should keep in mind is Australia has this thing they call an occupation, like, work list, something like that. Not all occupations lead to permanent residency. Like
Oh,
like every year they have certain occupations on a list, and if that occupation is on the list, you are eligible to apply for permanent residency after like 3 to 4 years. So that's another thing you should pay attention. If you're applying for a certain job, make sure it's something that leads to permanent residence. Because I've heard of people who came to Australia, they lived for like 5 years, but they didn't do that proper research. And after living here for a while, they found out they can't get permanent residence. So they had to leave and go to Canada
oh
or
no.
something. Yeah, so it's not just about coming, it's about making sure, okay, if you know you want to stay here, live, become a citizen, you need to make that plan. Also, same thing with students. If you come here to study, not all courses will lead to permanent residence. If you come here, if you're not doing at least a bachelor's, if you come here for like maybe 12 months qualification, you're not gonna have a pathway to permanent residence. You're still gonna have to leave at some point, or you're gonna have to keep reapplying for something. That's another problem with the the pathway. Like, it's like a tree,
Yeah.
different pathways. The middle, permanent residency. Not all leads to permanent residency. Some branches out to, like,
Mm,
you stay for 5 years, you stay for a while, then you have to find your way again.
yeah.
And
So
there's
for the
another
temporary,
visa. Yeah,
okay, so for the
yeah,
temporary visa, which is the one that most, like when you are looking for work, most company can offer the temporary visa because of the how easy it
yeah,
is to, like, the legal, whatever, everything around that. So which
yeah.
one are we going to be looking at when we are going for that temporary visa? Is it the short stream or the long stream, or like maybe the temporary visa itself leads to permanent residence?
Okay, so the short stream is available if your employer wishes to sponsor you as an overseas skilled worker on a temporary basis only. So you can stay for a maximum of 2 years or 4 years. So the short stream is like you're gonna have a limited time in Australia. Then the medium term stream is available if the employer wishes to sponsor you for a longer period of time, like over 4 years. And then the labor agreement is the long term one. It's like, okay, they want to have you here for a very long time. So that's another thing you should
Mm-hmm.
clarify. Like, do they want you for a short period of time? Because
Mm-hmm.
this thing called skill shortage, it changes over time. Maybe this year they lack teachers. Next 2 years they might lack engineers. So if they
Mm.
have you, they'll use you for those 2 years and they will just let you go, and they'll get another people. So you have to make sure, okay, make an agreement with these people. Like, if they're gonna get you for a longer. Hello?
Okay, I can hear you. Please continue. I need to
Okay.
fix my phone.
Okay.
Continue with the other streams that we have. Let me join.
Okay, no problem. So there's another interesting work visa, but unfortunately, a lot of African countries don't qualify for this visa, and it's known as the working holiday visa. So if you have a lot of viewers who are not African who are in this stream, they can also consider it. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
So the working holiday visa is a visa where you can come into Australia for a holiday, and during your holiday you can work,
Oh,
and you can stay in
all
Australia
right.
for up to 3 years. It's temporary. It's a temporary visa, but it can lead to something permanent. So these people come into Australia for holiday.
Please don't mind me. Just continue. Just
Yeah.
continue. We
Yeah.
can hear
Okay.
you. Don't mind.
Okay. So there are only some countries eligible that can apply for this visa, and they tend to be mostly, I think Hong Kong is one of the only, Hong Kong, Japan, and Korea are the only Asian countries on the list. The rest are like European countries. So yeah, it's
Oh,
they have a country criteria. Depends where you're from. Also, you need to be from ages 18 to 30 to be able to get this visa. So it's a very niche visa. A lot of people are not gonna be able to meet the requirements. So I won't talk much about that one.
okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so today we are focused on the work, the temporary visa leading to permanent residence and all that. So right now
yeah,
you talked about the skills in demand, like the changes of skills in demand and everything like that. So I
yeah.
want you to tell us or like explain to us what are the jobs that are in demand now that people are, even if
Mm,
you come with tourist visa, you have like maybe let's say 50% chance of getting a job in that
yeah.
aspect or in those aspects. And also, where are the areas that we can maybe, if you are going for tourists, the area that you can focus on because of the maybe because of the high in
Yeah,
demand in job and like
yeah.
low labors and all that. So you please explain to us these two things, like the jobs in demand and also the areas that we'll be focusing on, what we should know before we talk about where to find a job.
Okay. So if you're coming to Australia for a tourist visa in the hope of like finding something, you need to pay attention to where you're going in Australia, because Australia is a continent. It's a very big country, a continent with just 25 million people, and the landmass of Australia is almost the same as
Mhm.
Canada. I'm just trying to give you a picture of how big the country is. So you need to pay attention where you're going to, and like the demographic where everything is. So our advice, if you want to go to Australia, you should check out Melbourne, Sydney, Adelaide, or Gold Coast. Like those are the places, like the hotspot for people looking for opportunities and stuff. Then when it comes to
Mm.
jobs that are in demand, I would say anything in healthcare. So if you studied medicine, nursing, anything related to healthcare, you're gonna get paid a lot in Australia. Those are the jobs that are in demand, and there's a shortage of them.
Okay.
Also, teachers. Teachers are also very needed in the state of Victoria. Victoria is a state, and Melbourne is a city in Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
Just so I can give you some context, Victoria is called the education state. So it's like if you want to get like very good education, if you're a teacher, Victoria is the place to go. So if you know you studied education in Nigeria and you have like experience working as a teacher, then you should look into Melbourne, because the average salary of a teacher in Melbourne is over $85,000 a year. That's that's like the that's like the starting. It can go up to 100 and something over like
Ooh.
the more you go. 100, yeah. So teachers get paid quite a lot in Melbourne. So yeah, and there's currently an ongoing skill shortage visa. The only thing you need to pay attention is when you come to Australia, you might need to do a qualification to get your foot in out the door. Like you can't just come in and just start working like that. They will need to train you first, and maybe you might need to get a qualification. But if you're applying for a company from outside Australia, then they probably wouldn't mind you not having the qualification, because it's impossible for you to have that qualification if you haven't been in Australia before. So I guess they can
Mm.
kind of like overlook that. But for professional jobs like teaching, medicine, healthcare, the ones that pay a lot, you might need a qualification.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
so the main jobs are in healthcare and also education.
education.
Okay,
Yeah,
are there like a place maybe engineering is in demand, IT is in demand, or hospitality, like
yeah.
other skilled areas that
Mm.
you know that maybe people can actually explore and probably get something.
Yeah, to be honest, engineering, I wouldn't say engineers get paid a lot in Australia. I know a lot of engineers that go to the US to get like higher paying jobs. Um, maybe I don't know much about that, but according to what I know, it's usually in healthcare, in teaching, like as a teacher, and unless you want to open your own business, which the Australian government really
Mm-hmm.
helps. I know a Nigerian guy.
Yeah.
He opened his own business. He works in between Australia and South Africa, so he exports
Oh
Australian-made products to South Africa. And I don't know if you know Milo. It's made in Australia.
no.
It's an Australian
Oh,
product,
oh, me. Oh,
yes.
yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, Milo.
Oh, yes, yes.
So
Oh,
Australian products are quite
yes.
popular, but a lot of people don't like really know. Australian milk is like number one. Australian and New Zealand, number one in the world.
Mm.
Australian Angus beef. Australian beef is also very popular. Australian wine. So if you are a business oriented person, that you can really open up, you can start your own business here, and the government really helps. You can get loans to start up a business and stuff, but that's until you become a
Mm.
citizen. I'm just saying for like
Mm.
long term stuff. You don't just have to
Yeah.
like think
Okay.
about just jobs. You can also start your own business if you want.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
So talking about the business. Okay. What if I come with a tourist visa? Can I? Oh, you said it's a long-term process. Okay. Okay. So we
yeah,
don't talk about that.
yeah.
All right. So the last question that we have is we are going to now talk about how can we find these jobs, and also
Mm.
are there like the temporary visa, does it cover like unskilled jobs like maybe hairdresser, like unskilled
Oh yeah.
jobs, the seasonal jobs, are there like possibility
Uh,
of getting
let,
those
let me tell you,
unskilled jobs?
a hairdresser is actually a skilled job because it takes
Oh.
some time to learn how to make hair. You'd be surprised when you look at the list, the skill shortage list. I found carpenters, electricians, plumber. It's like the things you think, oh, this like they're actually carpenters get paid a lot. Sorry, this is another thing I forgot to tell you about. People that do manual work, like people that do
Mm.
like carpentry, electrician, plumbers, they're called tradies in Australia and they get paid a lot. Like you'll be surprised. People that do manual work get paid more than people that do like maybe a doctor or dentist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because these are skills they had to like train, they had to learn over time.
Mhm.
They probably even went to a technical school to learn it. So if you're someone who has years of experience being a carpenter, don't be surprised. You can get a visa to come to Australia and be a carpenter.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah,
where can we look for these jobs? And if we're looking for
yeah,
these jobs, how can we find it? Because I know that these jobs might cover for people in Australia. What are we going to be
mm,
looking out, like
yeah,
specifically, maybe in your visa, like like when you
mm,
come to when you're looking for UK, you see something like tier 4 visa available or visa sponsor, all those
yeah,
things. So when we're
yeah.
searching for this job, what are the keywords that we can use, and how can we know if they can sponsor visa?
You sponsor. Okay, so there are two websites I use that are very popular. Like even I use them to find some of the jobs I do. The first one is called seek.com, SEEK.com.
Okay.
Yeah, the second one is called Indeed.com. So these websites are where you can use to find jobs, and I can just talk basically the steps how it takes like to apply for a job and get it. First of all, you need to find a company that's willing to sponsor you to come to Australia. So the sponsorship application will be lodged first. Then nomination application will be lodged by the employer for this skilled worker. Then the visa application would then be proposed like for the employee. And the thing you need to need to have in mind is that the company really has to put some effort, because it's not just about you. The company also has to demonstrate to the Australian government that they've tried to find someone in Australia to do that job, but they couldn't find the person, and you're the only person they can get to come work for them. So you need to find a company that's willing to go through all of that to get you into the country to work for them. Yeah, and on
Okay.
seek.com, Seek and Indeed, I actually made a YouTube video. If it's possible, you can link that that video
Yes.
to this
We'll link it
video.
on the description.
Yeah, I made like a
Yes.
tutorial how to go on seek.com, because there are different tabs. You can type in the kind of job preference you want, the area you want to work in, and then the keywords will be visa sponsorship. So it's like you can look for companies that are willing to bring you into Australia to work. Also, if the company doesn't specify, you can also call them. You can also reach out. That's one thing I like about Australia. You can reach out to them and like let ask them questions if they're willing to sponsor you to come into Australia and work.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, guys, I'm
Yeah,
going to link. I'm going to link Anthony's YouTube channel on the description, so you can as well go and watch the videos that he has made about Australia, and you can follow him, subscribe to his channel because he's going to be uploading videos about visa sponsorship, right now, and everything you would need to know about visa sponsorship in Australia, moving to Australia. So, like you guys heard, he moved with tourist visa. So, if you have any question about that, you can as well reach out to him on YouTube and on his Instagram. I'm going to link it on the description so that you guys can just reach out to him and start your process now. So, with that, we come to the end of this video, and we're hoping to bring in Anthony next time, and he will
yeah.
explain more, give us more information about moving to Australia. And with that, we come to the end of this video. If you have any question, just keep it on the description box, and we'll be happy to answer it. And with that, we come to the end of this video. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay,
The
have a good
internet
day.
is so bad today.
It's all right.
Can you hear
All
me?
right. Yeah, I can hear you.